Code Blue is an initiative thanks to Parkridge Medical Center that is going into our schools and teaching a life-saving skill. Here to give us all the details are Tammy, Caroline, and Madison. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
All right, so tell me a little bit more about Code Blue.
Code Blue started at my daughter's school 8 years ago, and I was just doing something for my daughter and her school. And it came about because I realized they don't have a medical plan. In Hamilton County schools, they have a plan for tornadoes and fires and intruders, but a medical emergency, they kind of have to fly by the seat of their pants. So we started this for my daughter's school, and from Loftus, one of the teachers went to another school, and she said, hey, will you come? And from there, we've done 30-something schools.
Absolutely.
And we go in, we help them develop their plan, because every plan has to be specific for their school. How to get in touch with the office is different in every single school. And so they develop their plan. I go to staff meetings and help them understand what the plan is. And then Parkridge has been super kind to allow us to have the CPR classes on their facility. And nurses and teachers are the two closest professions, because we do anything for free food and a click pen.
Well, I was going to say, tell me a little bit about the skill that we're learning through part of this.
Okay, so the part that's so important, when someone has a sudden cardiac arrest, time is so important. And so for them to be able to jump and do something quickly is important. So we're going to pretend that this little gentleman here had a sudden cardiac arrest. Madison found him. She's already started CPR, and Caroline comes in. As soon as possible, we need to get the AED. Okay. All of the Hamilton County schools now have AEDs.
Perfect. So these are on site.
They are on site. You need to have more than one in some schools. In a lot of schools, one's plenty. But in some schools, you need more than one, because time is such an essential part. So the first thing you do, they're doing 30 compressions and 2 breaths. She's doing at the rate that you hear on TV, staying alive, staying alive. And she's going about 2 inches in depth. As soon as the AED gets there, you need to turn it on. That's the first step.
Okay.
Your pads might look different, but they all have one thing in common, and that is they have pictures.
Perfect. I was noticing that.
The pictures show you where to put. So hands up, keep going. And you take the little plastic off the back, and then
Don't touch patient. Analyze it.
don't touch.
So it kind of talks you through the process still.
It is so easy. It's easier than your
Don't touch
GPS.
patient.
It really is.
Analyze it.
So it decides. You can't mess it up. It decides.
Shock advised.
Oh my goodness, we're going to shock.
Don't touch patient.
And if you
Press
notice,
flashing shock
there's a
button.
flashing button, so it tells you exactly what to push. Stand clear.
Shock delivered.
Go back to
Start
CPR.
CPR.
And see, and it even told you that. It said start CPR. It's giving you
And
a
that's
rhythm.
the right.
Perfect.
And you keep doing this for 2 minutes, and in 2 minutes the AED comes back on and says stand clear, and it analyzes again. Now I'm going to turn it off. In the real world, you would never turn
Right.
it off.
We wouldn't in the real world,
But that way you can hear us talk. But it does everything for you, and you just have to listen. Most AEDs will tell you, it will analyze and say it's either shockable or it's not shockable. And then it will tell you to press the button. There are some AEDs out there that will say it's shockable and then say stand clear, shocking in 3, 2, 1, and then it shocks.
Perfect.
The one thing you have to remember, and this is the only way you can really hurt someone with an AED, you can't hurt the victim ever with an AED. You can hurt the rescuer if they're not clear.
Right.
Because if I shock and they're touching, they'll get shocked.
And like you said, all of the Hamilton County schools have this system in place, but we have to be able to know how to utilize
Exactly. And the key thing about the defibrillator is, in a sudden cardiac arrest, the most frequent rhythm is ventricular fibrillation, where the ventricles that make your pulse, that normally make your pulse, are just fibrillating. And for every minute you're in VFib and you're not defibbed, you have a 10% less survival rate.
Wow.
So quickly, just the time it would take me to go to your break room, grab your defibrillator and come back, you're down to 80%.
Wow.
So CPR buys you time. The AED is what fixes the rhythm.
Right.
And so that's why we want the schools to be prepared, because it might be my child.
Right.
It might be your child. And we want people to be prepared. So we train the teachers, we train the students, and we even tell the parents, because if a parent's there, if they're medical, they can help on the medical piece of it. If they're not medical, they can help with a classroom situation to free up a teacher to go.
Right, absolutely. 'Cause it's all a process, and in many ways it is a team effort. And you've mentioned you've already done the training in some schools, but it's important to still revisit it from time to time as
Yes.
staff changes, as it's been, a little bit of time for that refresher course as well.
Correct. We've had, there's one particular school that they're signed up for their 4th class.
That's perfect.
So they come back about every 2 years, and they have such a good time.
I was going to say, do you have a time frame you suggest to kind of reschedule refresher courses, or?
It just depends on how many staff members you have change. We'll do it every year if we've got the availability.
All right, perfect. So you've already set this up with a lot of schools, but maybe there's someone at home, you're a member of a PTA, or maybe you still work for a school system, and you want to make sure that this training is in your school system. How can we get in touch with you and get this set up?
The school nurses have my phone number, and so the school nurses can call me, or they can go through the marketing department at Parkridge Hospital, and they can get in touch with me.
All right, perfect. And now, if you're not part of a school system and you still want this training, there are a couple dates for 2019.
Yes.
For parents or maybe, scout leaders or organization leaders. How can we get in touch and find those dates as well?
That will also be through marketing
All
department.
right, good deal. Well, that information is there on your screen. If you want to get this in your school system or the training for yourself, that is open to the public. Ladies, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank
and
you for
thanks
having us.
for sharing this life-saving opportunity with our area.
You're welcome.